Hey everybody, Sandra here, Plant Rich Sandra. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your time. Today's episode is about seasoning blends, salt-free preferably. Some of these are just low sodium, very low sodium, but I've included them in what I want to talk about today. I've had several people ask me recently about what are some of the blends and the brands that I like to use for my stews, etc. And so that's what I want to talk about today in this episode. So first of all, let me say that I do have some standards that I put in pretty much everything, especially all of my my stews. And it doesn't really matter what brand you use. I tend to use either like a Walmart or Winn-Dixie. Sometimes I'll run down to the local Dollar General or to the Family Dollar here in town when I'm running out, and we'll get some of these items. But again, the brand doesn't matter. But I almost always put garlic powder and onion powder and Italian seasoning in pretty much every stew that I make. Those go in very, very liberally. Occasionally I put cumin in, but I'm personally not a huge fan of cumin. What I don't have out here is black pepper. I don't know why I like black pepper, but I just never seem to remember to use it. So but you know, cracked black pepper, freshly cracked black pepper would be very good in this too. Okay, so that's the first thing, is that those are my absolute basics, and I have a ton of those. Sometimes I use the granulated garlic or the onion flakes rather than the onion powder, but definitely like putting those items very liberally in everything I make, whether it's the tofu scramble or whatever. I add those things. Okay, on to the next topic, which is something that some former students of mine introduced me to, which is Kirkland's organic no salt seasoning. I do not have a Costco near me. Come to find out, this is a Costco product. So if you have a Costco, you can find it there, but I don't. So I ordered mine on Amazon. Organic no salt seasoning. It's actually, in my opinion, pretty spicy. I love lots and lots of flavor. Whatever the recipe calls for, I usually triple or quadruple the amount that it says, because I absolutely adore flavor, intensive flavor in my savory dishes. So this one is, you notice it. Okay, it's not bland. You will notice this in your recipe. Okay, now let's talk about good old Mrs. Dash. You can't go wrong with Mrs. Dash. The whole point of Mrs. Dash is salt-free. So that's what it's written on every single bottle. And I did not know that they had this many different flavors, and I may not even have all of them, but I adore them. This one says chicken grilling blends. Of course, there's no chicken in it. But this one is good to go on chicken. Okay, at least I hope there's no chicken in it. No chicken in it. Okay, so that one is called chicken grilling blends. Okay, then you have your original blend. You have Italian medley, probably very, very similar to the Italian seasoning that I'm already using. You have your lemon pepper, tomato, basil, garlic, Mrs. Dash, table blend. That may be a repeat, sorry. And this one I love, extra spicy. I also love this one, Southwest Chipotle. Onion and herb. And out of the ones that I have been able to find, last but not least, garlic and herb. Good old Mrs. Dash. Highly recommend And any of them that you have not been able to find at your brick and mortar, you can find them on Amazon. Okay. The next thing is a brand that I have fallen in love with, and I found it at Lucky's supermarket. And I've been to 2 Lucky's so far, been able to go into 2 of them. One is about 30 minutes from me in Claremont, Florida, and the other one is thanks to my ex-daughter-in-law who told me about it. As I'm coming back home from Bithlo every other Sunday after I drop my granddaughter off after the weekend, there is one that is less than 10 minutes from their house. On the other side of Orlando, on the east side of Orlando, and I've been in that one as well, and they're both good. I guess I like my home one better, the one in Claremont, because I'm familiar with it, but the other one is really nice to go into. And they have this brand called Frontier CoOp. You can find this online as well, Frontier. I think they have their own website, and they tend to be extremely health conscious, and for the most part, I don't think any of them have salt in them. Okay, so these are not in any particular order. I'm just going to go through them. They do have garam masala. By the way, it's non-GMO, non-ETO, and ETO means ethylene oxide, which is a sterilization chemical commonly used in the spice industry, but never by Frontier CoOp. So non-ETO and non-irradiated. Very, very healthy brand of seasonings, non-GMO verified. That's important for a lot of people who are in the know. That's very important. So garam masala has a nice sweet flavor with cardamom, cinnamon, and cloves in it. I adore garam masala. Okay, this one is lemon pepper seasoning, zesty and biting. Okay, this one is Cajun seasoning, authentic Louisiana flavor. This is a Vindaloo curry seasoning. And I have several of them here with turmeric in them. By the way, it's not turmeric, it is turmeric. The third letter is an R, so it's turmeric. Okay, so organic turmeric twist daily blend. Okay, just to give you an idea here. This one is organic turmeric, cinnamon, everything says organic in front of it. Cinnamon, ginger, black pepper, cardamom, Ceylon cinnamon, and rice concentrate. Okay, in the turmeric twist. Okay, all-purpose seasoning with citrus and aromatic herbs. Okay. This one is another turmeric twist savory blend. This one does have salt in it. This one does have a little bit of sodium in it. A quarter teaspoon has 35 milligrams, so it does have a little bit in it. Okay, it's called savory blend, turmeric twist. These are either salt-free or very low sodium. Okay, this one is Frontier's called pizza seasoning, and it is featuring bell peppers, fennel, and oregano, salt-free. Okay. This one I absolutely adore. This one does have 30 milligrams of sodium in it. So sea salt is the very last ingredient, and this is called harissa North African heat. North African heat. Okay. And while I'm at it, let me just go ahead and mention that I found this, the Silk Road, also the harissa. Okay, so that is another brand that you might want to try, is spice blends from the Silk Road, a global tasting experience, Moroccan harissa. Just go ahead. I only have one flavor from this company, so just go ahead and show that. Okay, this is called Indian curry seasoning with turmeric, coriander, and lemon, and it is salt-free, sodium-free. Okay, and then this is called Mexican Fiesta seasoning with chilies, tomato, and cumin. Cumin is very popular in Mexican cuisine, and this is salt-free. And one more here from Frontier, Turmeric Twist Sweet Blend, also sodium free. Okay, that is Frontier. Now let's move on to McCormick. And the ones I have here, I believe, are all salt-free, but let's check it out. Okay, so these are the McCormick Gourmets. The first one is Japanese 7 Spice, which is something I adore called Shichimi Togarashi. And this one is sodium free. Okay, so that's good. Let me make sure here. Spices including red pepper, Sichuan pepper, ginger, white and black sesame seed, orange peel, and nori flakes, seaweed. Okay, so that is Japanese 7 Spice. This one is smoked paprika, which is not really a blend, but it can be blended with some other things to make a really nice flavoring in one of your soups or stews. Again, what I do when I make my stew up, batch cook, is I cut everything. There's a whole episode I have on my batch cooked stews. And I cut all my vegetables up. I learned to do that the hard way, is get everything all prepped ahead of time. Don't wait and be cutting things up while you're cooking, while you have some things already cooking. I did that the one time, and it ended up that it took me way too long to get a couple of my later vegetables cut, and by then the first vegetables were complete mush in the pot. So what I do is I get everything cut, and then I put 2 big pots on the stove, and I put in what I call my stage 1 vegetables first, which would be the things that take a little bit longer to cook, like your celery, your okra, your carrots, your parsnips, the things that need a little bit longer to cook, okay? And then I put in the things I mentioned in the beginning, which would be your onion powder, garlic powder, and Italian seasoning. And then every separate pot gets a 4th major seasoning from these options, a lot of it, because I liberally season. So perhaps one pot would get those 3 things plus smoked paprika, or those 3 things plus garam masala, or those 3 things plus shichimi togarashi. That's how I do it. And then whenever I scoop it and put it in its bowls, I put a piece of masking tape on every individual bowl, and all I write on the masking tape is the 4th seasoning. So every morning when I take one out for the day, because I eat one a day, and they do have mushrooms in them, so I'm getting my daily mushrooms, there are a lot of mushrooms in them, I do a different one every day, and usually end up with 6 different flavors in the freezer at the same time. So I could have a flavor every day for 6 days, a different flavor, and I don't get tired of it. Yeah, it's the same vegetables, but no, it's not the same seasoning flavor. And so they're different. So garam masala one day, and the next day might be dukkha, and the next day might be Cajun, and the next day might be hot Hungarian paprika, etc. So that's how I like to do this. Okay, so here you have ancho chilies, McCormick Gourmet's chipotle chili, and then the hot Hungarian paprika, which can come in other companies as well. And then the other one, I don't think I have one here, but I did see it in the house a while ago and I forgot to bring it out, is some of the curries. So I have a hot Madras curry, and I don't think I have one out here. Hot Madras curry, which is a great flavor to add. So sometimes it's a blend, and sometimes it is an individual flavor that is a pretty powerful flavor. Okay, now we go to more of the McCormick's, and you know that McCormick has a line of seasoning blends called Perfect Pinch, but not all of most of the Perfect Pinches are not sodium free. This one is. It's just garlic and herb, salt-free. So as you know, of course, there was already a Mrs. Dash, but it doesn't hurt to try the different brands. So this is McCormick's Perfect Pitch. Okay, garlic and herb. You might consider just crushed red pepper to go in one. Okay, so don't forget that. This is a brand that I have never heard of before. I don't even remember now where I was when I found it, but I haven't even opened this one yet. And this is, the brand is called Hemispheres. And it is the 7-spice blend, the Japanese 7-spice blend of the Shichimi Togarashi. And if I'm not mistaken, this one is salt-free. It says here, Kinki Chiho. The Kinki region consists of 7 prefectures, including the Osaka Prefecture, which is well known for its culinary history. Renowned as the nation's kitchen, or Tenka no Daidokoro. Locals describe Osaka as kuidaore, meaning to ruin yourself by enjoying food. Okay. Okay. Red chili pepper, orange peel, garlic, sea lettuce, black sesame seeds. Just recently discovered those at Bulk Nation. They're really neat. White sesame seeds, sansho, which is a Japanese pepper. So yes, salt-free. I will definitely be looking into more from this company, Hemispheres. Okay, next let's go to Manitou. Manitou is not quite as careful as Frontier CoOp is in their health, but and in trying to do without the sodium, but still, it's a nice company to explore what they have, and you can find these online as well. So this was my first experience with the Shichimi Togarashi, not called Japanese 7-spice blend, but just literally called Shichimi Togarashi. And this one does have salt, and they're very, very, very vague. On the back, it just says ingredients. It says spices, sesame seeds, orange peel, salt, and nori, and in parentheses, seaweed. And then it says contains sesame, which they already said, but okay, whatever. Okay, so this one does have some salt in it. It does not say how much sodium content per serving, but it does. So, but after I bought this and fell in love with it, I looked for other companies that had it salt-free. And that's when I found, you know, the other ones. Okay, so Manitou has its own garam masala. I don't recommend it. Okay, then they have their 5-spice, which I think is Chinese. So the Japanese China. The Japanese, not to be undone, have their 7-spice blend, and the Chinese have their 5-spice blend. Okay. Anise seed, fennel, cinnamon, cloves, and black peppercorn. Okay, no salt in that one. I am not going to heartily recommend the dukkha, okay, from Africa, for 2 reasons. Number 1, I find it to be bland, and number 2, it has, as it says here, crunchy nuts in it. Excuse me. So with this spice, you are getting fat, and we're already getting. You know, most of us are either trying to lose weight or maintain a low weight, and we're not really looking for more fats added in just our spices. So I don't really recommend. But it says here, dukkha is a complex blend of ground nuts, seeds, and spices, most often used as a condiment in Egyptian cuisine. Its warm, nutty flavor is balanced by bright lemon and tart sumac. So, you know, try it if you want to. Dukkha. Okay, I just find it to be rather mild. Okay, This is awesome. Ras El Hanout. And you can get this in a variety of companies. And it is from North Africa. And if I'm not mistaken, Ras El Hanout has a meaning that is similar to something, don't quote me on this, something like top drawer, you know, that old-fashioned expression from the 40s or 50s or whatever, top drawer, meaning top of the line. It says here, it is an essential spice blend in North African cuisine. Ras El Hanout is a complex combination of warm aromatic spices, including coriander, cumin, cinnamon, fenugreek, nutmeg, and turmeric. I love it. I love Ras El Hanout, and I've had it in more than one brand. Okay, love it. My bag is breaking and falling over. Okay, this is another brand I really like from the Middle East, and it is Za'atar. Za'atar, and I've seen it spelled in more ways than one here. So Za'atar. Okay, Za'atar, a traditional Middle Eastern spice blend, is a unique combination of tart sumac and fragrant herbs, accented with the nutty crunch of Sesame Street. Sesame Street. Sesame seeds. Okay, Za'atar sounds a lot like the dukkha, but I really do enjoy this particular blend. Aromatic herbs, tart sumac, and nutty sesame. Okay, so Za'atar. You may find that in more than one company. And last but not least, this is, if I'm not mistaken, this brand right here, Stone Mill, I believe is Aldi's brand. Okay, and I think I've tried one of these, maybe the table blend. I think I had this bottle in my car for a while, you know, when I explained to you about the emergency cans of food, keeping a can opener and a pair of scissors in your car, and a set of paper bowls and some plastic spoons and forks and some plastic knives in your car at all times for emergencies when you are out and about, wet wipes, napkins, etc., for when you get caught with no food and your options are cheat or go without. Then, you know, pull into a parking lot, open your can of beans, open your can of diced salt-free tomatoes, drag out 2 of your paper bowls, get your spoon, wipe off the top of the cans, pour them into a bowl, add a blend that you keep in your car, season them, eat them room temperature. It's better than cheating. It's better than giving in. Okay, so I just highly recommend that you do that. I was just thinking yesterday, we do have some options. If you have a Wendy's nearby, you can always pull through a Wendy's and order their baked potato with nothing on it, or get 2. And if you're super hungry, I get 3. I mean, you know, if it's a choice of that or cheating, get a couple of plain baked potatoes from Wendy's and, you know, eat that. That's better than getting their burger, okay, or getting their nuggets. It'd be better if you ate 3 plain baked potatoes than to eat a serving of their nuggets, even a child-sized serving of their nuggets. Okay, here's another company that I don't know much about yet, but I do want to look into them more, and it is called Zamouri. Z-A-M-O-U-R-I. Zamouri Spices. And again, this is the Ras El Hanout Moroccan spice blend. Let's see here if this one. This one, it does have salt in it. It says turmeric, ginger, cinnamon, fennel, anise seed, cardamom, galangal. Do you remember galanga root? Galangal, star anise, cayenne pepper, garlic, nigella, N-I-G-E-L-L-A, paprika, rosebuds, now comes the salt, ajwan seeds, that's A-J-W-A-N, lavender blossoms, mace, I don't know what mace is, and other spices. Okay. This company is out of Kansas, it says here. Olathe, Kansas. ZamoriSpices.com. Might be interesting to look into them. Okay, and next, Bragg. Everybody knows Bragg's apple cider vinegar. Everybody knows, most of y'all now are familiar with Bragg's liquid aminos. But Bragg's also has two other things I want to mention. They have this organic sprinkle, 24 herbs and spices seasoning, which I highly recommend, okay, that you get this. It is, let's see here, sodium free, rosemary, onion, garlic, thyme, red bell pepper, carrot, tomato, black pepper, basil, Bragg's organic, well, it says extra virgin olive oil, but I don't think there's much in there. It's just to kind of hold it together because it is fat-free. Parsley, tarragon, lemon peel, orange peel, Bragg's organic apple cider vinegar, celery seed, dill seed, oregano, savory, sage, ginger, coriander, bay leaf, and turmeric. Okay, so I do recommend this. It is really good. Okay. Okay. Oh, and Bragg's also does make kelp granules. Okay. I don't have any out here, but they do make some. All right. So that actually brings me to my last item that I have to show you, which is this is, let's see here, from a company called Maine Coast Sea Seasonings. And this is the organic kelp granules. And you'll remember that Kathy Fisher, the brilliant Kathy Fisher, with her cookbook and her website, does talk about putting kelp granules in her, straight up food. Sorry, I have a brain fart there for a second. StraightUpFood.com or her cookbook, Straight Up Food. Highly, highly recommend. But she mentions in her Tuno salad, T-U-N-O, Tuno salad, that if you want to add these optional kelp granules, that it gives it just a hint of a fishy flavor to it to kind of make you think you're getting tuna. But what is giving you the feel of tuna is the chickpeas. Okay, when you grind them up a little bit in your food processor, and it's a great recipe. But when you add this, that changes it from being like chicken salad to tuna salad. So that this brand is an option for you. But Bragg's also makes a brand. But let me just go ahead and say right now, if you can't find the kelp granules and you can't find Bragg's sea kelp, you can take nori sheets. You can take the any of those seaweed sheets, break off a little piece, and put it in your like in your little coffee bean grinder, and break it up real tiny. Add it in. You're getting that seaweed flavor. You're getting that sea flavor to it, and you're getting the iodine that you need. And so that's one thing that this mentions on here, is an excellent source of iodine. But let me just give you a heads up that you can go overboard on the amount of iodine you're getting every day. So be cognizant of your iodine intake. Don't go overboard with your kelp and your seaweed, okay, your dried seaweed, because you can get too much. So this is called a salt alternative. It's not called a salt substitute. Personally, I don't recommend the ones that are called salt substitutes that are trying to imitate a salty flavor to them. I don't recommend them because I consider them to be chemicals. And we do try to stay away from man-made chemicals. Try to substitute with actual seasonings rather than salt substitutes that give you the saltiness. Okay, substitute instead with these things. Alternate, get alternatives to salt. All right. If a recipe calls for a teaspoon, then I'm going to put probably 3. Like I said, I tend to go overboard with my seasonings because I like lots of flavor. Hey guys, after I gathered all of the spices up yesterday and came back into the house, I realized that there were a few things I had overlooked on my shelf, and I wanted to just mention them. This is the Bragg's here on the left that I mentioned that they have their own version of sea kelp that is definitely a good possibility when you're making Kathy Fisher's tuna salad, in addition to the brand I showed you. And then don't overlook the curries. And so here I just have one red curry, but you know it also comes in like green curry. That actually is a really neat idea for seasoning your stews as well. And then I think I mentioned paprika yesterday. I can't remember now if I had one in the bag or not. But you have hot Hungarian, you have sweet Hungarian, there's smoked paprika, and those make great seasonings for roasted vegetables and stews and things like that, so don't overlook them. And then the one that I just recently, that I used in the chickpea crepes that I made, the street food, the French street food, I used herbe de Provence in that. And I just uploaded that episode recently. And I've really kind of overlooked herbe de Provence for years, but it is a viable blend to consider. And so I didn't mention that in the episode, and I wanted to be sure to mention it. Obviously, this is a French brand. This was brought back to me as a souvenir gift, but herbe de Provence is available all over the United States in American brands as well. Okay, I just wanted to tuck this in to that video at some point. Okay, bye. All right, so that's all I wanted to say today. I hope that you got something out of this episode, and if you did, I hope that you will give me a thumbs up right here. Also, I hope that you will click subscribe if you haven't yet to my channel of Plant Rich Sandra. And there is somewhere in this area is a notification bell. And if you'll tap that notification bell, then you will get notified whenever I drop a new video, a new episode. I also would like to encourage you to share this video with anybody that you feel might be interested in going whole food plant-based or nutrient-dense plant-rich, as Dr. Furman prefers to call it. I am a nutritarian. Dr. Furman is the doctor who wrote Eat to Live and put together this plan that I've been following now for almost 4 years. So I just wanted to put that out there. And that if you happen to live in the Central Florida area and that you would like to join me for a free live support group setting, we meet on Monday nights here in Webster, Florida, in the historic Webster Community Building at 6:30. And we meet pretty much every Monday, but there are some occasional Mondays that we are unable to meet. So we are not going to meet the Monday of Thanksgiving week, and we're not going to meet the Mondays during my Christmas vacation and New Year's. We'll pick back up in January. You don't have to let me know in advance if you are coming. You're more than welcome to come. And what I generally do is I have a presentation. I try to keep it short. I'm not that good at that, but I'm working on that. Sometimes I bring food for people to sample, nutritarian-friendly foods. And I did do a demonstration on all of these seasonings at a previous meeting. And then I give out a handout that is applicable to whatever my presentation was. And then we turn it into a circle of a Q&A, a share session. And all of the people there are welcome to ask questions or to share a struggle that they had that week to get help, or share, which is encouraging to everyone else there. And we take care of any issues like that. So we meet from 6:30 to roughly 8 o'clock on Monday nights here in Webster. And I have a little Facebook group. It's still very small, but you're more than welcome to join. And it is called Webster Eats to Live, and then in parentheses, Nutritarian. If you want to search for that group on Facebook and send me a request to join the group, you're more than welcome to join that group. And then I do post some pictures and things in that group, and we don't really talk much in there yet, but we're growing, and so people may start asking a few questions in that group as well. And if you are interested in receiving any of my handouts via email, you're welcome to email me at sanka61@yahoo.com, and that's Sanka like the old decaf coffee, 61, the year I was born, at yahoo.com. If you email me, then I can add you to the distribution list and just put something in the title like Nutritarian handouts, or Webster Eats to Live, or whatever, Plant Rich Sandra. Put something like that in the title of your email so that I can be alerted to it, because it is pretty much the only email I ever use. I have a Gmail, and I have a work email, but that's my Yahoo is my main one that's been mine for many, many years. So I get a lot of junk mail in there too. So be specific in your title. Then I can add you to my distribution list, and then I will send you attachments of the 7 documents that I've created so far, and then add you to the list, and that you'll get them from then on. Okay? So I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to say. Again, thank you very, very much for joining me this afternoon. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon, and I very much enjoyed being outside today and getting caught up on some of my videos. At this moment, I just have one more that I want to make, which I will not be making here this afternoon, but I do want to do a couple of episodes on all of the dried beans that I have been collecting, amassing. Right now I have 36 different kinds, but I just ordered like 5 more that should be here by tomorrow, including a very interesting bean called Bambara, Bambara, which is a forage legume, meaning it is one of the few human edible beans that actually grows underground, like peanuts, which are a legume as well. And so Bambara beans grow in Africa, and they are considered a staple crop, but they're on the decline, and the reason is unexplainable, because they are such a great bean. But I have some coming. They'll be here by tomorrow. I'm very excited to include them in my collection and to show them to you in my bean episodes. So have a great day, and we will talk to you all again soon. Bye.